Bond commits the heaviest sin that Bond can commit in this movie. McCurdy, you brought up how Fiona is the perfect anti-pussy galore. Bond's like, I f***ed you for king and country. And she's like, I f***ed you for Spectre, bitch. And he's like, what? And that's terrific. That's great.
Yeah.
Once again, the feminists have on the James Bond franchise because every woman is kick-ass. You can't find a weak bitch in the James Bond franchise. So feminists, be angry about that. Except for this movie. Because James Bond commits the highest sin that James Bond can commit. And what is that, you're wondering? How does Bond get women? Pure lust, pure attraction. But in this movie, Bond blackmails a woman to f*** him. That should never, ever be the case.
Somebody's gonna wish the day had never happened.
Oh, you wouldn't tell Dr. Wayne. Please, I'd lose my job.
Well, I suppose my silence could have a price.
You don't mean... Oh, no.
Oh, yeah?
She took that blackmail really well, though. She was like,
yes,
oh.
But last week, you guys said Bond spanking Dink was cringy, and I was like, come on, it's Bond being Bond.
Behave yourself, Mr. Bond.
This, where he blackmails a woman, coincidentally another masseuse, he blackmails her into f***ing him because he's basically threatening to get her fired.
Please, I'd lose my job.
Bond should never, ever do that. It's genuine desire that brings women into his lusty trap, right? Instead, he's like, oh, somebody's going to pay for this. And he's obviously talking about Count Lippy. And she's like, oh, no, I could lose my job. And he's like, well, then my cock, bitch. And she's like, okay. And then immediately he's like, okay, thanks, idiot.
See you later.
See you later.
Alligator.
Which I laugh my ass off every time. But that is so anti-Bond, it makes me want to puke.
I wrote down in the notes as I was watching this movie, like, Dink was one thing, not to keep bringing Dink up, but that's one thing.
Dink brings me up.
Another level. But even before the whole blackmail scene, I don't know if she's a masseuse or a nurse or what. The whole complex was confusing. But he does the arm thing to like trap her, and she's like, no. And then later on, he pushes further with the whole blackmail thing.
But it's all well and good that he's coming on to her. I mean, like, because he's coming on to her. That's what, Bond is all about. Dr. No means no. He is always pushing that, but he always does it in a playfully charming way, even if the woman plays hard to get, because Bond loves the chase. But here, it doesn't come across as playful. It straight up reads like, do this or else, because they never have that moment where she seems into him. In fact, it's the opposite, and then it just turns. He knows that women want
very
him.
rapey.
He knows this. So Bond can be as rapey as he wants, because ultimately chicks are like, yeah, you were right the whole time. I do want to bang you. That's not us. That's not men in general. That's James fucking Bond. So much so that James fucking Bond doesn't need to blackmail women into sleeping with him. That's where I go, I'm offended. I'm deeply offended. I'm deeply offended. And not for her sake, for Bond's sake. That smears Bond horribly. That is a stain on his record.
That's a tough argument.
All right.
2021.
Let's